Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another off-season episode with the Hustle and Hoops boys. Today, we're covering the Toronto Raptors, the Kings of the North, the Six, as some people like to say, Drake's team, as Drake would say, and this is a
Drake
team
would
that's kind of it's okay. It's okay. It's an okay team. But guys, should we just go right into our core four?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Lineups, you say?
Well, no. Hey, slow down. This team, they have a lot of stars. They have a lot of good players. One might not say they have a true superstar, though. They have a couple all-stars. They have maybe a future all-star in their midst, but no true superstars. Let's see. Who do I want to ask the question to first? Jack? Pascal Siakam.
Uh-oh.
We saw him play the Robin to Kawhi's Batman. Can he be the Batman to Fred VanVleet's Robin? Or are we going to see more of a, tandem, like they're both equal in their
They're both
game
Batman.
plan?
I don't want to start
Batman.
I don't want to start a conversation over this, but I don't like the whole KD thing. But if there's one team that needs to trade for KD, it's them. It's them. Like they get KD, and it's just like the Kawhi situation where they're right there. They might be the best team in the league, fully put together. But I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I haven't been a big fan of Pascal Siakam. I haven't. Even when he played well in the playoffs, even when he played well in the championship, to be quite honest, haven't been the biggest fan of Siakam. And that's because of those first three words right there, the spin cycle. Like he's good, but like it's just a lot of spinning. I mean, I might not be the best person to talk on Siakam just because of that bias of all he does is spin. So if anyone else wants to say anything, just
I want to add something real fast. I think you hit it right on the nose, Mindy. I think this team is the best supporting cast, and they're one superstar away. Like you said, KD. And if KD came in, he would have every tool he would need. And I think the one star here, or soon to be star, is Scotty Barnes, who can be that actual number one option. Because Pascal, like you said, although he's the number one option on this team right now, he's not the number one option on an NBA championship team. And that's the difference between good and great. And this team has the tools. They're one superstar away. And Scotty Barnes in the future can definitely be that guy. But right now, he's too young. He doesn't have the experience.
Yeah, we've had those conversations where it's very, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's very, very hard to win a championship if you don't have at least one superstar. And the Raptors don't have any superstars right now. Dove, Jacob was saying that Scotty Barnes can be that guy, that superstar. I'm not disagreeing that he can be a superstar, but one of the things that's lacking in Scotty Barnes' game that it's going to be difficult to see it really explode is his scoring ability, his true scoring ability, his shot. Do you think he ever explodes into some scoring threat, or do you think that's something you see in Scotty's future?
Well, I think, another thing we've talked about is that you see these players who are going to be stars damn near no matter what they do. Obviously, it's not inevitable, but damn near no matter what they do in their career, no matter how hard they work, they just have that natural talent to come out there and give buckets. Scotty Barnes, in my opinion, is one of those guys. I think it's up to him whether or not he wants to be the number one type of superstar, or if he wants to be the kind of superstar that isn't the leading scorer. Simple as that.
It's not to say he can't be a superstar, but his scoring will always be a question mark.
I don't think but that's the thing. I don't think it's going to be a question mark. I think it's going to be him his mentality that's the question. I think if he continues to kind of switch between passive, facilitator and when need be, like in the regular season against Brooklyn, where they were losing up until the second half. And then after the second half started, he went from 0 points to 24, like stuff like that. If he does that, you've got no problem. You don't have to worry about Scotty Barnes. But if he doesn't continue to develop that mindset, then yeah, I'm worried. But I don't think I'm worried about his ability to be a number one scorer. I think he could do it.
Yeah. I mean, and then our fifth option on here, got OG Anunoby, the glue guy.
Shouts out to Indy.
The fifth option.
I mean, it says 5 on top of him. So.
Oh shit.
I was just messing around, but OG Anunoby, his game speaks for itself. He doesn't do anything that, like, he rarely does something negative on the floor. Almost everything he does is positive. And let's keep going, huh? Unless someone's got something to say. I mean, no, that was a pretty well.
Did anyone say anything about Fred VanVleet?
No,
I don't think so.
We all know what Fred brings.
That's out Freddie. Finals.
Freddie stays ready. I like that. I like that. Steady Freddie stays ready. He's there to play.
Shouts out.
Jalen.
The Raptors took Christian Coloco in the draft. He had a pretty solid summer league from what I could see. What I watched a little bit of the Raptors. He might need his number called upon him, but
fits the reps, lengthy, like skinny wings, 6'7" wings.
Yeah,
just fits that prototype pretty well.
Yeah,
I did not realize what Kawhi's face looked like in this picture.
Danny Green.
His face looks funny.
Fred VanVleet was on the bench for that, by the way.
Jeremy Lin too. Can't believe that.
All right, so they actually had a decent amount of pickups. I mean, I assume they lost someone. I could be wrong. I assume they lost someone. I don't know if we just forgot.
I don't think so.
There's no way they lost no one.
Probably not.
I guess the Pelicans lost. Well, they still lost Tony Snell. I remember doing it because I love Tony Snell to no one. But they signed Otto Porter Jr. They re-signed Chris Boucher to a very team-friendly deal, and they re-signed Thaddeus Young, who's veteran presence. And then they also got one of the biggest free agents, all the way from Spain, Bo Cruz. Scouts have been talking about him. They think he could be the next best thing. His only weakness are yo mama jokes, but he could be really good in this league. But all jokes aside, Juancho Hernan Gomez, veteran, journeyman. He's competing for a roster spot though. So let's just get right into our rotations, huh? It's the Raptors.
Yeah.
Let's stop beating around the bush. Dove, why don't you take the lineup first today?
Absolutely. So starting off at your point guard, you got Fred VanVleet. As we said, Freddie stays ready. At the shooting guard, you got Gary Trent Jr. This is a guy who proved himself in his in that 1 year in Portland, came over to Toronto, and has consistently been a really, really solid third option over there in Toronto. OG Anunoby, as we've said, he's the glue guy. He doesn't really do anything negative on the court. He'll be your 3. Scotty Barnes at the 4. Realistically, we could see him playing any position 1 through 5, but this is where he fits in on this lineup. Siakam at the 5. We all know that's, he's their all NBA player. That's who's going to be there. Off the bench, you got Chris Boucher. I have no idea what's about to happen this year. I mean, he went from getting taken out the lineup for a game, to just a lot of stuff between him and the organization. Hopefully this contract is a sign of good things to come, an upwards trajectory in the relationship. Precious Achiuwa, we all know what he's done. Did he play for Team Nigeria, right?
Yep.
Played great. Defense against KD, Team USA. And Kem Birch, their backup center, absolutely just a solid role player for them. Otto Porter Jr. We talked about him on the Warriors video. Go check that out if you want to hear what we have to say about him. And Malachi Flynn, their only guard off the bench. He's the only guy who played guard minutes off the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
Decent shooter.
In that regard, I know you can't like bench him now, but like some part of me wants to have Pascal at power forward, slide everyone down, and have Gary Trent come off the bench and just be an insane 6-man. Obviously, Gary Trent played too well last year to do that. It's like saying, "Oh, let's move Marcus Smart back to the bench if you're the Celtics after winning Defensive Player of the Year." But I have a similar bench to you. First four exactly the same. I just got Bo Cruz just because. Shouts out Bo Cruz. I've
I
always
like how we put Bo Cruz on there.
Since he was in Denver. Like I was always a Juancho Hernangomez fan. Like he's a former first-round pick for a reason. Like they drafted.
Disrespectful.
What? To not call him Juancho.
Not call him by his real name.
Yeah. I've been calling him
whatever.
But it's not his real name.
Mindy. We have the same lineup.
Shouts out Bo Cruz. I got the same lineup. Originally, Doug almost talked me into putting Kem Birch over Chris Boucher, which I would never do.
Did I do that? I don't think I was doing that.
Yeah, you did.
I
have Otto Porter at the 6th man because he was very good on the Warriors, and I think he can bring in some nice scoring off the bench. Kem Birch at the 8, Precious at the 9, and Bo Cruz at the 10, which it's tough because they're bringing in a guard off the bench. Like they're bringing in a guard off the bench.
Malachi
Milano. These 5 guys,
he's a good option. He's just their only option.
Malachi or Delano Banton. And Banton had
sign a rogue guy.
I don't think they can trust Delano Blanton yet. Like
I think you got to give these 5 guys minutes. You have to give these 5 guys that are coming off of my bench minutes.
Ron Harper,
unless you don't want to play Bo Cruz.
Bo
I
Cruz
honestly
does not
could
even
see
have a
them-
guaranteed roster spot. Just so you know, that's what I saw on Twitter is that he's competing for their last roster spot.
I honestly could see them having Scotty be their backup point guard.
Yeah, well, that was another thing. Like, who cares? Like Scott, like who cares?
Who cares?
Duville, you're the only one who's got Christian Coloco in their rotation, in their 10-man rotation. That is. Any specific reason for that?
I think it's a common theme now from most of these off-season recaps that I'm the only one with the youngins in my 10-man, and it's gonna stay like that. It's gonna stay like that, guys. I think the Rooks have to get the run. If the Rooks aren't on the roster, then why are you drafting them? Like, what the hell are we doing here? So they have to be on the roster to get run. So I'm putting them in my 10.
Fine. That's fair. And the only thing is, like, I'll
big
say
nose
that,
ball guy out here.
Clip that.
Like, if you're a top, if
Take
you're a
that,
top
Josh
10
the Pills
pick,
fan.
if you're a top 10 pick,
shouts out.
You got a
Shout
spot.
out, Josh.
No free promo.
Shout out, Josh.
If you're outside the
Who are
top
you?
10, if you're outside the top 10, like, you don't have a guaranteed 10-man spot. It's simple as that. Like,
yeah.
I see them playing more. Like, Malachi will get run. They don't have the guard depth, like Doug said. So it's gonna happen. I mean, we're beating around the bush here. Bo Cruz probably won't play.
yeah.
He's making that money though. So shouts out to him getting that bag. Precious Achiuwa, I think he deserves a lot of gas because he's that guy. Chris Boucher, like Doug said, and then Otto Porter.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the bench. They're one superstar away. This is the team.
Before you get into your ceiling and floor,
They won't have much bench after they trade for KD. but
one thing
yeah.
that I will say, KD trade aside, Dove, when he was making this particular slideshow, he was getting in the ESPN trade machine and sending some very, very, very hypothetical trades. I'm not shitting on his trades, but it made me realize that this team is very far from a championship as currently constructed. It really made me realize that. And I'm gonna get into my floor ceiling. Like, I think their floor their ceiling is a first round victory. I think their ceiling is playoffs. Like, I don't see this team winning a playoff series at all. And I think they could easily miss the playoffs I'm not predicting someone gets hurt, but people have been getting hurt a lot recently. Even injuries aside, I could just see them not putting it all together and just slumping like they did at the beginning of last year. They ended up putting it together, finishing with a pretty good record, but I could also see them just being in a play-in spot and losing in the play-in tournament. I think this team is very far away from championship aspirations. Duville.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, tough to follow that. But I would say their floor for this team staying healthy the entire time would be floor play-in with a win and then an exit in the first round. And their ceiling would definitely be like second round victory, I would say. I think they could go deep if they catch heat. I mean, go watch our Bulls video, but Mindy said the same thing. So I think, yeah, if they catch heat at the right time, they could do some damage.
Mindy, what do you think?
Real quickly, just the first point I made in this video, this team has the perfect roster to trade for KD. I don't want to get into it, but every other team that could trade for him would have to give up too much for their team. But this team has so many guys that they can give up and still be good. My ceiling for this floor, my ceiling for this
The
team,
ceiling is the roof.
as currently constructed, is, like Shane Baum said, a first round exit. From the Bucks to the Heat to the Celtics to the Hawks to the Bulls to the Cavs.
Didn't even
There
say
are
the
too many.
Who are
Sixers.
they beating? They're not beating
Fuck
any
the
of those
Sixers.
teams.
Sixers to the Sixers. One of
Fuck
those
Boston.
teams, 4 of those teams are going to the next round. And unfortunately, the Raptors are not good enough as currently constructed. My ceiling for my floor for this team, goddamn, is they miss the playoffs entirely. I don't think they miss the play-in though. They're too good to miss the play-in.
Yeah.
They would be like a 9 or 10 seed though. That's my floor, and then they lose in the play-in.
I can see them being a 7 or 8 and losing in the play-in as well.
Yeah, yeah, but that my floor for them is 9 or 10 seed, losing the first or losing the play-in.
Yeah. Dove, why don't you take us home on these floor ceilings?
Floor, I would probably throw them a bone and say like 9, just in case. And then ceiling would be like a second round exit. Yeah. I mean, I think they could win. I think they could win a first round series. I think they could win a second round series if they go up against the right team. But that's if they go up against the right team. So, you know,
That's what ceiling means.
That puts
do you have a team
so
in
that
mind
puts
for
my
that?
ceiling that
Second round victory, right?
The Sixers.
I'll let you get into
looking
it
at the
real quick,
Sixers
like-
is 1. The Sixers is 100% 1.
Does that have to do with vaccination
Chicago's another
statuses?
one.
Does that have to do with vaccination statuses?
Oh,
No.
whoa.
No, it doesn't.
whoa.
It doesn't.
Well, I mean, that's why people thought the Raptors might win against the Sixers this year, and they got.
Yeah, that's not.
But
I just thought.
now they have PJ Tucker, so it's fine.
Like Dove, like I'm not trying to call you out, but like if you say like they can, you're essentially saying they can make the conference finals. That's what you're saying their ceiling is.
Now they have.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
No, I said second round
Let's
loss.
stand by it. Well,
Yes. I
said
no,
second
then
round
you
loss.
said depending on who they get in the second round, they can.
Yeah, but that's not what I think they're at. Like realistically, their ceiling is a second round loss. But if they go up against a team like the Hawks, like the Sixers, like the Knicks, who in my opinion are all like fake good teams, then yeah, I think in the Bulls, then I think they could win. But that's not giving them the ceiling of conference finals. That's giving them like if they go up against a bad team in comparison to the other teams they would go up against, realistically, they're going up against the good teams. They're not going up against the likes of Chicago, Atlanta,
I think I was saying the same thing,
Cleveland.
Doug.
So if they
They're on
play
the
New
same
York in the
mindset there.
first round and then Philly in the second round, it's possible that they make it.
It's possible, but that's
if you
not
see a
me
Bucks,
saying
though,
that their ceiling
You're
is
cooked.
conference finals.
That's fair. Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
Anyone that's not the Bucks or the Celtics
Yep.
All
or
right.
the Heat.
So
could-
I mean, the
Fair.
Raptors.
Hmm.
What were the Sixers?
They are what they are. It's a little bit of a different change of pace than some of the other teams we were covering recently that are coming out of finals appearances. This team, at the end of the day, this team won a championship like in the last 5 years. That's a lot more than a lot of other teams can say, especially with the dynasties going on in the NBA. They're happy with that. I know for a fact. And we'll see how they go from here, because they are going to be an interesting team to watch this season. So if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us everywhere, Hustle and Hoops, and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.